Sok szeretettel köszöntök mindenkit
Good
ezen
morning, everyone.
a szép
Pleasure
napos
to welcome
szombati
everyone.
reggelen, és
We
hát
have a
erre
beautiful
kaptam
sunny
felkérést, hogy az
Sunday
életügy koordinátor szerepéről beszéljek
Saturday
a
morning,
jövőben.
and
Tehát a
I'd
jobb
like to
alsó
talk
kép az
about
mutatja, hogy
the role of
igazából egy
life path
navigátor, csak az
coordinator,
nem
who
hangzott
is
volna nagyon
basically a
elegánsan vagy jól,
navigator,
de ki
but
fog
it
derülni
doesn't
menet
sound
közben,
that
hogy
good,
miért is
but
lesz egy
you'll see
iránytű ez az életügy
why
koordinátor.
this
Tehát
coordinator
kezdjük az
plays the
elején,
role
ugye
of
mi
a
a ritka
compass in your
betegség,
role, but
hiszen nem csak a CMT
starting at the beginning, what
lehet
is
ez,
a
hanem
rare
körülbelül
disease? It's
plusz
not only
6-8
CMT,
ezer
but
féle
6 to
betegséget
8,000
sorolunk a
different
ritka
other
betegségek
diseases
közé,
are
amit
included
azért
among
hívunk így, mert
rare
2000-nél
diseases,
kevesebb embert
which means that less than
érint, és hát
2,000
ezért
people
tényleg a
are
hétköznapi
affected.
szakemberek, akik
And
ilyen-olyan hallhattuk most, az egészségügyi,
physicians
szociális
in
ágazatok
everyday
közvetlenül
life
dolgoznak, nem
or
találkoznak
in
túl sűrűn,
education,
akkor,
specialists
hogyha
in
egy
education
betegség
do
csak
not
4000 emberből
see
egyet
such patients
érint.
very frequently.
Ezek a ritka betegségek sokszor lehetnek
These
életveszélyesek,
rare diseases
vagy
can often be
krónikus
life-threatening
gyengüléssel
or can
járhatnak
involve
progresszív
chronic
módon,
degeneration
de akármilyen
with
formában
progression,
is, erősebben
but
vagy
whatever the
gyengében,
form,
nyilvánvalóan
whether it's
befolyásolják a kliens
more or less
életminőségét,
severe, they
és nagyon gyakran,
have an influence on
képbe a
life quality.
gyógypedagógia,
And that's where
hogy nagyon gyakran valamilyen
physiotherapy comes into the picture. It's
ahhoz
very
beszélni
often
túl, ahogy
associated
hallhattuk
with
még itt is
various
előfordul,
disabilities, not only disability of the musculoskeletal system, but deafness or other laryngeal problem, problems with the eyes, learning disabilities, etc. 50 to 70% of these diseases affect children, and even though physiotherapy does not serve only children, but we can see mostly children living with disability who among them with children living with rare diseases as well. And as Noemi has mentioned, they try to have to create a logic to the thread of presentations, and she also mentioned social services, education, and we have seen an example of a surgery, what happens before and after. But during your life, a lot of things happen to you, and there are different ages of life. You go to a kindergarten, and later you go to university, and then after you go to work. And you have to cope in all stages of life. We have a cooperation with this foundation. We have had this cooperation with readers for a long time, and we also have a cooperation with Semmelweis University. And it's clear that we need one person who can help families affected to find their way among these various sectors, which is a labyrinth to them, so that individual case management can be provided. But we couldn't call this role case management because it's another profession, and we didn't like the word manager anyway, because manager is someone who can make decisions, but this person we are talking about cannot make decisions, so it's more of a coordinating role. So we need a hub, an information hub, who knows about the use of the latest digital tools, the use of systems, digital databases, and can help navigate your way in this labyrinth, not to hit dead ends, or as little as few as possible. when living with disabilities. So we made people vote as part of a conference how to call this person, actually, and I'm not joking. We put up a word cloud, and it was the winner, life path coordinator, who will be the key to the success. What's the role of such a person? Well, once I finished, I can already go home, but let me explain how such life path coordinators are made, and they are in the making right now. Well, they connect the families with the necessary services. They are key actors to ensure access to efficient services, give information about services, cooperation, evaluation, planification, counseling, and care opportunities. They have to be able to communicate in a professional manner and broadly help. They help access to resources, and they are a tool to ensure the well-being and the autonomy of affected persons. They help access to advocacy, communication, education, service resources. How is a life path coordinator is made? Well, this diagram explains this. It is built on foundational trainings. You need a bachelor's degree, and after that you can acquire another degree that you will need on the labor market. And we have new developments. I will talk about that at the end of my presentation. And it will show where this coordinator can acquire their degree. And we have laid down the foundations jointly with these three organizations. And once the basic principles have been defined, we have realized that it's basically what the WHO lays down as basic principles. Nothing about us without us. Clients must always be involved, as we have heard in the previous presentation. The leader of the team is the affected person. Other principles are rational adaptation, equality of chances, equal access, communication, information, and cooperation. They are all part of the CRPD UN agreement. And we have come up with this training plan in 1 year. We defined the learning outcomes at a workshop. At a participative workshop, which means that affected persons were involved, and the process was iterative, and we had small round tables, and we put together small parts of the program, and we always listened to the persons, to affected persons, what they need or what they would have needed during their education to find the right form of education, to find the right career or profession, or to find the right clinician or physician who would have helped him to diagnose his disease and explain his situation. And we had also parents in this participative workshop, as well as specialists, medical doctors. And then we created the subjects based on this content, and we developed the details. This work is still working, still in progress. And we need to develop the subjects, the content, the e-learning interface. And the Senate of the ELTE University voted on this. They introduced the request for permission to the Ministry of Education. We started the work in 22, and in March 23 we were ready, and it was registered in 8 September, and in the fall of 2024 it was launched, and we have 10 students right now, and they are actually here. It's a 4-semester training with 120 credits, and you have to pay a tuition fee. It's practice-oriented, modular, and very modern. We have very modern educational methods. It's a blended training, which means that e-learning is part of the training. The content is uploaded, the students learn the material, and they are tested. As for the input requirements, it's quite broad, and now I asked our students, most of them come from pedagogy. They come from humanities. Some of 3 of them are qualified physiotherapists, and I hope that for later years we will have people from economics, from social services, and we also have affected family members or other organizations are also represented. For example, employees of organizations advocating for some rare diseases. And these are the main subjects. Case management and actual practice is present during both semesters, which ensures that the training is practice-oriented. Students need to find a patient, and they need to develop a case portfolio, which will take the place of a thesis. And in the course of the 4 semesters, they learn theory and practice, and it fits in one page, well, with small letters. But the subjects have high credits relatively. You don't have to be present all the time. We have online consultations, we have live courses where you have to be present, but a lot of online learning is possible. The team is multidisciplinary, which means that there's a knowledge exchange inside the team as well. They have very different experiences, and they can help each other. Someone might be a mother who is affected, or the employee of an patient advocacy organization, or you might work at a workplace where you care for an affected child. So teamwork can be practiced already as a student. The different background means that some people can be exempted from some subjects, but they tend to not asking for exemptions because you have the latest information if you take part. The regulatory network changes more frequently than good for us, and I know about that because I'm teaching that at Bárci Gusztáv University. And I always have to change my transparencies because there's always some changement. And what you need to learn is where to find the information, not the information itself. This is the knowledge you need, and it's, of course, it depends on the subject. What you do, capacity, skills, activities, they collect information, they provide information. So it's not only a navigator and coordinator, but provides counseling, gives information, is a hub, links various fields, gives consultation, doesn't care for a patient unless they are actually a nurse. They are not providing physiotherapy unless they are an actual physiotherapist. What they know best is who is the person who will provide the best health care, who is the person who will provide the best education for that particular person, and where to go. They'll help orienting their clients. As for where you can find these coordinators who will act as a key, as a drone who flies above the system and looks with respect to the needs of their client, they look at various sectors and find the best available care. And it's a new piece of information. We have a continuous cooperation with our partners, and we are advocating for the regulation of this new career where these persons can be employed, and they will be employed by child welfare and child protection institutions, and the decree regulating the functioning of these institutions, it will be a requirement that they will need to employ such professionals who earlier had smaller scales and more sporadic qualifications.
az ő feladataikat is el tudja látni,
And
hiszen ez egy sokkal nagyobb, ez egy
as for the
4
Foundation for people living with disabilities, it's a training with 140 credits, and this life path coordinator will be able to do their work as well. And I'd like to thank Andrea, who will come later, and she will be here.
Továbbképzőközpontuk szakmai igazgatójának és Bódi
And
Évának, aki pedig
I'd like to thank Eva Bódi from Semmelweis
koordinátor
University,
partner.
who is our
Ami fontos
partner.
információ lehet még, hogy tudomásom szerint ez év őszén nem indul a képzés.
As far as I know, this fall, no new training will be launched, but we will wait for the first generation of students to finish, and there will be rotating training between the partners. Our first students will finish their training in the spring of 2026. Thank you very much for your attention.